Hello, and welcome to another video from 3.5 Archive. Today, we're going to be doing our 84th D&D 3.5 Prestige class review, and we're going to be looking at the Contemplative Prestige class from the Complete Divine Sourcebook. Contemplatives, as their name suggests, contemplate. They spend a lot of time cultivating a greater closeness with their deities through meditation and prayer, and as a result get a variety of powerful abilities. They're a little bit like monks in terms of personality, and it would be very fitting for like a cloistered cleric, whether you're actually playing that class variant or not, to go into this prestige class. It fits the most for clerics of deities of something like Bakab or Weejas or any of those other almost sort of intellectually minded deities, or maybe Obadhai, or a lot of like neutral line deities make the most sense for this, or deities of magic, or something else a little bit more neutral and philosophical. But honestly, it can work for any deity, and as we'll see, it really doesn't matter. This is a very flexible prestige class. So what do you need to become a contemplative? Well, you're going to need 13 ranks in knowledge of religion and the ability to cast first level divine spells, and you're also going to need to have had direct contact with your patron deity or a direct servant of that deity, or with an enlightened being embodying the highest principles of an alignment, such as a solar angel. And this last requirement can easily be fulfilled by casting the Commune spell, which is a level 5 cleric spell, and if you're a cleric or favored soul, you can easily just do that and check mark this prestige class requirement off the list. Being able to cast first level divine spells, that's pretty easy. And while 13 ranks in knowledge of religion is a lot, odds are you're going to be taking ranks in that skill, and you're not being asked to take any particular feats. You're not going to be asked to take more than one particular skill. And as a result, this prestige class's requirements are only lightly restrictive. Pretty much any high-level cleric could just make a 90-degree turn out of nowhere and start taking levels in this prestige class. It'd be very easy to get into. And that's a very good way of judging how restrictive a prestige class is. So what do you get for being a contemplative? Well, you get a d6 hit die, 2+ intelligence modifier, skill points per level. You're going to get a half base attack bonus instead of 3/4, like you probably were getting from cleric. And you're going to get a good will save. So you are going to have a little bit different advancement track here, but it probably will be worth it. If you're not a very melee-focused cleric, or you're just willing to cast divine power, which will make it a moot point, you're still going to be doing pretty well. I mean, there are other prestige classes like Radiant Servant of Palor that are very strong, and they downgrade you to a d6 hit die. So it's not that big of a deal, as we'll see. So the other thing you get from Contemplative is you get full spellcasting advancement. And this is huge because that means that any class features you get from this are just a bonus. You're not getting anything from continuing to take levels in Cleric. So if you're not going to lose out on any spellcasting, it's really hard to justify not taking levels in this prestige class. And right off the bat, that makes it a really good option. And it starts off very strong because at level 1, the Contemplative gives you a bonus domain. You get access to a bonus domain of your choice, any domain available to your deity or alignment, and you get the granted power associated with it, and the spells in that domain are able to be selected as your daily domain spells. And that's just amazing. I mean, a lot of prestige classes that just give you a particular domain pre-selected are really excellent for that reason. Again, Radiant Servant of Palor is one. There are quite a few others, but this one gives you access to any bonus domain of your deity, and that's amazing. You're also going to get Divine Health, which will make you immune to all diseases, including magical ones, so you can fight mummies and werewolves without any fear. That's good, but that wouldn't be enough to make this prestige class attractive by itself, but the bonus domain right off the bat really, really does. At level 2, you're going to get Slippery Mind. This would let you re-roll on your next turn a failed saving throw against an enchantment. You only get one chance at this, but usually one chance is all you're going to need, especially with your superior will save. This is going to keep you from getting charmed, and odds are they're just going to want to use that charm spell on the party fighter instead, but making sure that you can't be taken out of the fight is really great. Slippery Mind is a good feature, and it's extra good on a class with a good will save rather than the rogue that it originated from. At level 3, you're going to get Divine Wholeness. This lets you heal your own wounds. You can heal up to 4 times your contemplative level and hit points per day. You can spread it out however you want among multiple uses. And you're going to go from 12 to eventually 40 extra hit points that you're going to have in reserve as healing, in addition to anything else you might have. Healing is pretty cheap, but being able to do this no matter what without requiring you to have a wand or even any of your spells left is nice. It, at the very least, would save you some spell slots if you were curing, doing cure spells with your spell slots. And it's going to save you some charges on a wand to cure light wounds if not. At level 4, you don't get any new features, but that's okay. At level 5, you're going to get Divine Body. This makes you immune to poisons of all kinds, which is great because poisons are something that run the gamut of all levels. You're going to run into poisons even from epic level monsters. So being immune to them is really nice. It might keep you alive. It very likely will keep you alive at one point. At level 7, you're going to get Spell Resistance. Oh, that's after level 6 where you get a second bonus domain. So you're getting a total of 4 domains if you take this Prestige class. And yeah, you're going to be level 16 at this point, but even so, having all those extra options, and if you have a deity that has access to domains that give you unique spells or really interesting powers, I do have a video on the best domains. So if your DM homebrews some kind of super deity with some of the really great powerful domains, and you worship that deity and take levels in this Prestige class, then your character is going to be pretty strong. But even if not, just getting those extra domain powers is really great. You can truly become the ultimate worshiper of your deity. At level 7, you're going to get Divine Soul. This is going to give you spell resistance equal to your class level plus 15. So it's going to be 22, and you're going to be character level 17 with 22 spell resistance, which isn't fantastic, but it is better than a lot of other ways you could be getting it. And given how extremely expensive in some ways the cloaks of spell resistance are, this is really nice to just have this as sort of a native thing that you don't need to take up a slot for. And of course, if you are playing a favored soul, you don't want to use that cloak slot on your cloak of spell resistance. You'd much rather, of course, have your cloak of charisma. So this will allow you to actually get that spell resistance. And again, class level plus 15 is not fantastic, but 22 spell resistance is nothing to sneeze at. It'll eventually end up spell resistance 25. That's decent. And then at level 8, you again skip on getting a class feature, but at level 9, you're going to get Eternal Body. You no longer suffer ability penalties for aging and cannot be magically aged. And this is not amazing. I mean, if you were going to start out at an advanced age, but a lot of D&D campaigns don't really run long enough for your character to actually age. It would, of course, make you much more powerful as a cleric or favored soul to have to be venerable. Of course, the venerable druid build concept is a pretty well-known and popular one. And it would work well for clerics too, but you'd have to start at that, and you'd have to suffer through up to level 19 to no longer have to suffer the physical ability penalties from it. And if you've got that far with a -6 to your constitution, you probably didn't. You probably died already. So this is not a very good feature, but it's nice for flavor. And then finally, at level 10, you're going to become a magical creature. You become an outsider native, and you're going to get damage reduction 10/magic. Damage reduction is cool, but it is pretty overrated, and /magic is one of the weaker varieties of it. You're going to run into a lot of creatures that are going to strike as though they had a magic weapon, and pretty much every foe wielding a manufactured weapon at this level is going to have a magical one. So it's not really that great. It'd be nice to be able to walk through a horde of enemy soldiers and just not be touched at all, except maybe on a critical hit or something like that. But it's really not that great. So 7th level in this prestige class is the last time that you get a really strong feature. But again, there's no reason not to keep taking levels in it all the way to 10th, because unless you're going to be taking some other prestige class or multi-classing some other way, you're not missing out on any features from cleric. So overall, I would give the Contemplative 3 stars for concept and 5 stars for execution. I mean, you're getting spell resistance, immunity to disease and poison, 2 extra bonus domains, slippery mind to let you reroll against enchantment effects that might take you out of the fight, and then you get, damage reduction and no aging penalties, which are nice, but really the defensive abilities you get from this prestige class, along with those 2 bonus domains, for essentially no real investment, is just amazing. And while the Contemplative does have a certain flavor to it, it's one of those prestige classes that it's really hard to resist just taking levels in it for any character. And yeah, you'll roleplay your character as being contemplative and spending a lot of time praying and finding, kind of an interconnection with their deity. But really the reason that they're going to want to take this is because it gives them pretty much something for nothing. And that makes it a really good prestige class. It's also cool conceptually. And while it is a little bit generic, that's why it only gets 3 stars for concept. It is just a fantastic option, and it's worth taking for pretty much any character, and that's a mark of a very strong prestige class. So definitely worth considering the Contemplative for your next cleric or favored soul. That's going to be about it for this D&D 3.5 prestige class review. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, and so on. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time here on 3.5 Archive.